telah pun bersedia di KLIA untuk sidang media yang akan dilakukan. Kita terus saja ke KLIA.
You investigations, did you? And actually, what is the evidence, exact evidence that you show can get the result? And some of the family members told us they went to Australia. They want to go to Australia, so could you arrange the trip for them? Thank you.
First and foremost, as you will appreciate, the missing plane was reported to the authorities, and since then it was a matter for the authorities to take over the seeking and searching and finding the plane, and it is since then the domain of the authorities. But as I mentioned earlier, our focus, our center of action throughout this painful period that is at least, was to provide care and assistance to our passengers. Certainly, this is a time of extraordinary emotions, so we fully understand, and in fact, we really feel for our family next of kin. In terms and how they react is only, it's emotional, as we may understand. As regards going to Australia, as AJ mentioned just now.
With regard to going to Australia, we have been informed by the Australian authorities that visa will only be given or granted to those family members once the evidence has been established. I'm talking about the big evidence.
Yes.
Next question.
Hello, sir. I'm from China News Service. My question is that so far you haven't found any debris or records about the missing plane, but how have you so sure about you have determined to believe that the plane is crashed? How do you believe that? And based on the analysis of the image satellite. Can you answer that? Thank you.
Fair enough. I think that's a very fair question. But as you would also appreciate, especially last night, the Prime Minister came out himself to share that he has been given fairly credible leads that would point to where the plane ended its flight. And as he mentioned, that position is very far away, very remote, away from the nearest landmass. And after 17 days, we could only bring ourselves to reach certain conclusion. Yes, please.
Dan, South China Morning Post. You talk in your statement just a minute ago that this conclusion was not unexpected. Why did you wait so long for the families, for them to actually be told that their loved ones are basically dead? And once, Mr. Johari, that you concluded your part of the investigation, will you resign?
As far as Chairman has mentioned, we take lead from the investigation team that's been led by DCA. And yesterday, when the Prime Minister made that statement, it's very evident that the aircraft ended its flight in the middle of South Indian Ocean. Okay, so we will have to be, we just have to follow those evidence has been presented to us. And what we did yesterday was to share that as quickly as possible to the next of kin. And will I resign?
Personal.
It's a personal decision. We'll take it later.
Next. Nice. We give the lady a chance.
Hello, sir. I'm from Xinhua News Agency. My question is, has the Malaysian side provided all the information and evidence to the Chinese side that lead to the conclusion of the MH370 flight ending in the ocean?
Firstly, my answer is that Malaysia Airlines is the first affected party. The investigation is with the authorities. and it's best to ask the authorities.
Okay, the next one, lady in blue.
Thanks, Tunsen from China. I have two questions. The first one, I would like to rephrase from some media colleagues also asked. Now we confirm that the plane is ending in this middle of the South Indian Ocean, but can the survival chance of the passengers there be totally avoided? This is the first question. The second one is now there's some reports about this time the MH370 also missing. Could be some machinery problem, which is very closely similar as the incident that happened in 2009. Also, an Asia airplane and also the Boeing 737. That airplane is from Singapore to Perth, and it happened as a sharp turnaround and very unstable altitude flying reports. So people say these two incidents have a very similar developments here. So could it be this incident today could be caused by some machinery failure? Do you have any information?
I'm sure that will be very important consideration to be taken by the investigators. Thank you.
But the two questions. The first one, the survival chances could be totally avoided now.
At the moment, that's how we are looking at it. Because the plane ended at a place extremely remote from any landlines.
So can you just be more clear on that? Can you repeat that in the movie? What are you saying about the survival?
This by the evidence in given to us and by the rational deduction, so we could only arrive at that conclusion. It is for Malaysia Airlines to declare that it has lost its plane, and by extension, the people on the plane.
Thank you, Bob. Lady over here.
Thank you. I'm from Chinese Hunan TV station. Yeah, during these several days, I have interviewed some people in Malaysia, including some family members. Most of them were not satisfied with the reaction to this emergency. What's your opinion about this? And why you isolate them to the outside world? Thank you.
We are saying they are dissatisfied with the opinion. I mean, can you say that? Can you repeat your question, please?
During these several days, I have interviewed some people in Malaysia, include some family members. Most of them were not satisfied to the reaction to this emergency. So what's your opinion about this? And why you isolate them to the outside world? Thank you.
Firstly, our first concern, particularly for the families from China, is for their safety and comfort and certainly privacy. And that is the main concern that drives whatever we try to offer to the family members. And in terms of why we still keep them hanging on, is simply we all share their hope as well.
Why you isolate them with the outside world?
And I say it's not probably isolating them is not a correct impression. We certainly put them in a place where they are comfortable, and that also a place where they could have privacy, and our caregivers are given and they have given access to our caregivers with whatever they require, like visiting the places of worship for them to offer their prayers and things like that. So they are not being closeted.
Okay, next question.
Can you hear me?
I can, but it's better when you share the rest.
Yeah, okay, sure. Siva from Reuters, my condolences. there are reports that the police have now narrowed the investigation to the crew members and the pilots in particular. They have discounted anything from the passenger side. Could you comment on that? Could you also talk to Malaysia Airlines? Have you had any problems in the past? Any disciplinary issues with the pilots or the crew? Anything that might point to anything? Thank you.
I appreciate that. I think a fair question. Just that if I may just bring back to the purpose of this press conference is to share with the other than the families of our affected passengers and crew about what we have done last night. That is to break the news, and what we're doing next, particularly in terms of continuing with our caregiving to our passengers' families, and what we do in terms of the normal process as you imagine for events like this. So your question is correct, but I think the right forum is when we meet the investigators. Thank you.
Okay, the next question will be from the gentleman over there.
You're near the speakers. Yeah.
Angus Whitley from Bloomberg News. You referred earlier to the information that led to last night's announcement, but can you say exactly what the new analysis was and what the new data was that gave you enough certainty?
I think that's fair. The best time is this afternoon's PC with the Ministry of Transport. They will be best to explain. We are just another affected party as well.
But you know presumably what the analysis was. What was it?
We have been given the indication that we should now arrive at that very sad conclusion for us to make as the owner of the plane.
The questions are unanswered from last night. Can you give any more clarity?
As I said, the best time is when we have the Ministry of Transport PC this afternoon.
Thank you. The next question will be from the gentleman.
Jeremy Grant from the Financial Times. In the spirit of helping the families understand what has happened, and bearing in mind that you now do have more information which led you to the conclusion that the Prime Minister announced, what is your best analysis of how the plane got there, what actually happened? Yeah. Bearing in mind that we have quite some hours before the next press conference.
I don't want to speculate in terms of what happened to the aircraft. I think the investigation is ongoing. Okay, I think our focus is really for the family members, how to help them moving forward, and that's really our focus here. Otherwise, we're just speculating, and I think the investigation is not concluded, so I don't want to speculate anymore on that.
We're spending our time now in the process going forward in terms of how we can meet legal as well as moral obligations to the families.
Thank you, Councillor. The next question for the gentleman at the back.
Thank you. Steve Butterman from CBS News. I wanted to ask a question about the reception, and this has been dealt with a little bit so far at the news conference. Some people, the family members, have not been happy with the way this all has come down as far as their isolation in some cases, whatever. Some people have suggested or implied that Malaysian airline officials have been heartless. Have you been heartless? Can you respond to that?
Firstly, we can appreciate that no two persons affected by the event would have a similar reaction and emotional response. So depending who you speak to, you will get a different version. So there are also enough numbers who have shown their appreciation for what we have done, and we really touched by that, and it encourages us even more. So it's a question of limitation and practical limitation that we are looking at. But coming from the bottom of our heart, we're really reaching for, because you realize that 13 of the missing passengers and crew and one passenger member of our family. Malaysia Airlines is an extremely closely knit organization. We feel for each other, and that sort of extension and philosophy extends to our passengers as well. So the first thought is to provide that comfort was there. From the first day, we immediately formed these family assistance centers all over the place. And we dispatched our caregivers to show that, we meant what we say. And we probably enable them to provide whatever first reach that we can do. And certainly no amount of compensation or consolation will make up for any loss of life. And we appreciate that.
And could I ask one follow-up? Are you going to attempt, or will your high-ranking executives attempt to meet and talk to every family that has suffered a loss?
It's being done all the time, sir. The question that we do not display our name when we go. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the gentleman in red shirt.
Max Gomes from TV Globo Brazil. How do you see, I know it's a difficult question, but how do you see this position of Australian government that only will grant the visas for the families when an evidence is found? Maybe still there is hope in Australians' opinion?
Well, actually, I can't speak on behalf of Australian government, but
that's why I say that's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this position?
It's whether I agree or I don't agree. It's a position the Australian government takes. Okay. Like I said, we are here to ensure that we support the family, right, and to make sure that we fulfill their wishes.
Yeah, I can expand a little bit more. Firstly, in this time of human challenge, compassion will rise. So I think protocol notwithstanding, I'm sure those issues will be raised. As we say, this is an unprecedented event, and we may be looking at some unprecedented way to resolve this. So we need not necessarily look at the book immediately.
Okay, go to the last couple of questions.
I'm sure that those issues will arise, and I'm sure it will be addressed.
The next question.
Hi, Jason from the Wall Street Journal. I understand that you have stressed that your focus right now is to help the families and so on, but Malaysia Airlines is also a party to the investigation and also the owner of the aircraft. So can you tell us, after more than 2 weeks, what is the most likely cause for this happened? Is it more? Can you at least tell us confidently that it's not the plane's problem, it's pilot error, or?
Yeah, I really appreciate your curiosity, as we are also. But we have to draw a line between what is, should be in the formal domain and what we can do. And our focus at the moment is more in terms of what we can do, which is outside the investigation area.
Yes, but can you provide at least a little bit more information?
Yeah, everyone here would like to. Yeah, certainly, but we will not want to jeopardize or anticipate anything.
Okay, can I have the last question from the local media, please?
Yes, please. Can I have one question over here? Melissa from Channel News Asia. I would like to talk about the future for MAS. May I know how badly has it affected business for MAS? How badly confidence has been shaken, and what are you going to do about it?
Well, obviously it has affected the airline, right? But so far, like I said, we're doing our best to ensure that those that bought Malaysia Airlines tickets, we ensure that they are being served, they're being made sure that they're being flown safely, comfortably, right? Moving forward is something that we will look into. Obviously, it's something that we must basically share with the families of those on board. We must empathize with them, and I think this is a very painful period for the airline, and something that we have to basically, we do share this period with the families of passengers and the crew. Our procedures are code tango, not necessarily we actually declaring code tango now, but we have actually ratcheted up our process and procedures up to level of code tango, okay, to ensure safety and security of our flights.
Thank you. Can we have closing words from you, Tan Sri, as well as from AJ?
Sekejap, sebab dalam TV, saya boleh bernama, family ada call minta ada banyak announcement buat dalam TV, so family tak faham, boleh tak ada tu Tan Sri bagi apa yang Mas nak bagi tahu dalam bahasa.
Inshallah, we can have a separate one. Inshallah, thank you. So my final remarks still the same as original. We are extremely sorrowful for the event, and our hearts and prayers are with the family. Thank you.
AJ, final remarks from you?
Our focus, as Tan Sri mentioned, is really to ensure that we provide care basically for the families as we move forward. It's not very easy. It has been 18 days, and yesterday's announcement was, really a painful, basically a very painful fact for us of losing an aircraft in the middle of South Indian Ocean, and our responsibility as an airline and our moral responsibility, here is to ensure that we manage the lives of those affected moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ. Thank you, Tan Sri. For members of the media, I would encourage you.